The pandemic affects almost every aspect of our daily lives as more companies look to extend remote work after the pandemic. Our safety online may never be the same. Our tech expert, Dave Hatter's here right now to tell us if we need sort of a digital cleanse. And good morning, Dave. Thanks for joining us. Many of us were kind of thrust into working from home without much thought about online security. What do you think were some of the more common mistakes that we made?
Well, as always, thanks for having me, John. And I think you're right. Many of us had to go home, figure out how to be productive very quickly, sometimes without any real IT support. And I think probably the biggest mistake most people make is the same mistake we've talked about many times in the past, which is people still use the same username and password across multiple accounts because, frankly, it's a pain to have a bunch of different passwords. I get that, right?
All right.
So one of the best ways to resolve that is to use a secure password manager like a LastPass or a Dashlane or RoboForm, Keeper. There's a bunch of them out there. Many of them are free or very low cost. They work really well. And there are plenty of experts that have vetted these things. So that'll make it easier for you to create a strong, unique password for every account that you access. And that'll go a long way towards making your accounts much more secure, including your work-related accounts.
Yeah. Are there certain rituals that we should undergo looking forward to make sure that we're working safely from home?
Well, another thing you can do, John, is turn on multi-factor authentication. I mean, both Microsoft and Google have recommended that multi-factor authentication, sometimes called two-factor authentication or two-step verification, will block about 99% of all attacks. That's the thing where when you go to sign in addition to a username and password, it generally sends you a 6-digit code via text that you have to enter. That way, even if the bad guys do get your credentials, they get your username and password, they can't log in. The other thing you need to do is really think about, do you need Internet of Things devices? Do you really need that smart TV connected to the same network that you're doing your personal finances on, connected to the same network that you're working from home on? Because time and time again, we see these Internet of Things devices are just full of all kinds of security and privacy problems. People plug them in. They don't know how to configure them correctly. They don't understand that there's software in there that needs to be updated. And they're potentially exposing them from a security and privacy standpoint. And then another key thing is software updates. No matter what kind of device you're on, Apple phone, Android phone, Windows PC, Mac computer, you've got to install the updates. Microsoft and Apple and other software vendors are constantly putting out updates. They'll help you protect your privacy and security. You got to install those things, and the sooner the better.
Yeah. Now, the people who want to exploit our weaknesses, pretty smart. They are often very clever about trying to get to our online defenses, through our online defenses. Are there things that we can do so that we can tell if maybe somebody is taking advantage of our online position that ordinarily we wouldn't know?
You're exactly right, John. The FBI recently put out some statistics through the Internet Crime Complaint Center. They said that, and not necessarily only because of the pandemic, but they believe that's a big part of it, and I do too, that they saw reports through the Internet Crime Complaint Center more than double last year. There were $4.2 billion in loss accounted for through that. So yeah, you're right. The bad guys are out there. They're trying to scam you around the pandemic. They're trying to get into your bank account. They're very crafty. They continue to use phishing attacks via email. They'll now do what's known as smishing, send phishing attacks via text message. They're even brazen enough in many cases to call you on the phone. When you get something you've never had before, purportedly from your bank or from the government or whatever, and it's got a sense of urgency, it's telling you there's some terrible thing that's going to happen to you if you don't take action, want you to buy gift cards, something really unusual. 99.999% of the time, that's false. You can go to the IRS website. You can go to the FTC website. They'll tell you they don't do those kind of things. If you get something like that, assume it's false. And if you think that you should look into it, then do what we nerds call go out of band. Go to the FBI website. Go to the Hamilton County Sheriff's website. Go to wherever this thing claims to have come from. Don't click the link. Don't call their numbers. Go on your own. Look up their website. And then call them and say, hey, I got this thing. Is it real? Because they're getting increasingly crafty in the quality of what they're sending. It's harder and harder to tell it's fake. They're sending more of it. And, they're hitting you from every kind of angle under the sun, including voice calls. They'll leave you a message that claims to be from some organization you may or may not have done business with. And then, they're trying to pull you in, get your credentials, steal your money, steal your identity, et cetera. And unfortunately, I don't think it's going to get better anytime soon. So you got to be skeptical and careful.
All right, be diligent. Okay, Dave Hatter,
Yes.
As usual, thank you for your advice.
Thanks, John. Have a great day.